viewing us live. Our convener for Women Development Program, Mr. Peddi Rajendra Krishna Prasad, I should say co-convener. Our Secretary, Dr. Ravi Kumar Jain. Our Vice President, Mr. Ramchandra. Welcoming our speaker, Ms. Kavita Ramesh, who is a water warrior. And last but not the least, I welcome our President, Ms. Kavita Rajesh, who I request to take this meeting forward.
Thank you, Geeta. And it is Kalpana Ramesh.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for the...
sorry.
Thank you for the introduction.
Okay.
Very good evening to one and all, and truly our esteemed MC members and members across who are on the virtual mode. And it is a great honor, and it is a very important topic of the day as we see last mile for the water, which is very much needed, how to preserve the waters in today's scenario, because there might be wars in future for water. So Kalpana, she's doing a great job. And to talk about Hyderabad Management Association, it's a body since 1964. Hyderabad Management Association handles variety of activities in the context of lecture meetings, training programs, and conventions, seminars, panel discussion, faculty and student development programs, debates, and we also do management development programs. We have an international desk, and we also promote MSME through MSME desk, and just handle them and give the support wherever the possible disconnects are there. So we are trying to connect on that. And social impact desk is one of the good initiations of HMA, where Kalpana Ramesh is heading, and she is incidentally happening to be the speaker of the day, and she's doing a very good job in Hyderabad, and it is well recognized, and lots of applause to her work. And I would request our co-convener, Peddi Rajendra Prasad Garu, to introduce the speaker. And thank you, Kalpana, to address HMA today. And it is really, we are waiting to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Well, as a co-convener of Hyderabad Management Association Women's Development Cell, it's my privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Kalpana Ramesh Garu. Kalpana Ramesh, she is an interior architect from Hyderabad, and she is founder of a rainwater project, and she is founder of a Kava Design Studio. She is the head of Water Initiative, and she is a TEDx speaker from Hyderabad, and she is a member of IID Hyderabad chapter. Kalpana Ramesh, fondly called as a water warrior, is an environment advocating water conservation and restoration. A designer by profession and vexed with the city's dependency on water tankers, started working towards solving water woes by implementing rainwater harvesting in and across the city. She is also lead for Water Initiative SAI, Society of Advanced Human Endeavor, and drives initiative like Save 10K Boats and Leave the Lake. She believes in building the communities for local decentralized action for water and works on replicable models with a city-wide approach. She believes in working on a three-part plan, which includes communities, corporates, and the government for sustainable water future. Her current social startup, the Rainwater Project, provides sustainable integrated water management solution in public and private sector, along with lake and well restoration and conservation. She played an active role in Hyderabad Design Forum, HDF, a step well documentation initiative, as a lead of a Blue Hyderabad initiative in collaboration with various organizations. She worked on restoring the dead Pundikanta Lake. The quality of water, the environment of the lake vicinity have improved significantly over 3 years. In collaboration with government, she worked on restoring collapsed drain network around the lake, regaining the potable catchments, and improving the biodiversity. Besides working with researchers on lake revival, she has also conducted various water awareness workshops for students and corporates, reaching out to 6 million people. She is one of the 7 women honored on Women's Day to take out the Prime Minister social media handle for a cause. She received many recognition with many prestigious awards in Water Heroes, like Water Heroes by Jal Ministry, SCSC, and of course HMA, Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2021 last year, and ICI Award. It's my privilege again, madam, to welcome you for this great session and thanking you. Now the mic is yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and thank you all really for this opportunity. It's been wonderful knowing you all for the last few months and the activities that you're doing, and it's really an honor to handle the social impact desk with Hari Garu. I'm really glad I'm here today as a speaker and wanting to actually share my journey today. I shall share the screen. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I hope you can see the screen.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So the title today, Last Mile for Water, most of you must be wondering, why is it called Last Mile for Water? As you all know, even the UN is calling this 10 years the Water Action Decade. What we do in this 10 years makes a huge difference in the future years to come. So this is often heard but forgotten that, even Niti Aayog said Hyderabad is one of the cities that is going to run out of water in 2021. We didn't run out of it, but it was an alarm. So this is all heard, then shared on groups and social media, and then often forgotten. Similarly, the UN also has given us several alarms, and we know that we can't ignore them. We know that we cannot ignore them. So literally, it is the last mile for water. I mean, if we didn't do anything collectively as communities, as government, as a system, if we don't work together, we're going to face dire consequences. And you can rightfully see the picture of children here. I mean, I worry a lot about their future for water. I mean, we cannot erase everything and give them a very sad world for them to battle tomorrow. So my journey is quite interesting because I have done architecture, and how did I come into the water space is something Kavita Garu asked also a while ago. Well, I was not a water warrior, though I have lived around a lake and I have, lived around water bodies in different countries as well. So I know the pleasantness of living with nature, but hardly did I think water then. So my whole journey started when I wanted to establish my practice in Hyderabad. I was otherwise born, brought up in Bangalore. We moved back from the US in 2000, and we moved back to Hyderabad. And when we moved back to Hyderabad, just a second, sorry. So when we moved back to Hyderabad, the only thing we were moving to many communities here, and the one thing that stood out was buying tankers. And buying tankers seemed to be a norm. Every other community is buying tankers for a few months in a year. And that used to bother me because when we moved back, we had made this decision that all our parents are going to, stay with us. So we had 4 parents with us and our kids. I was really bothered about the quality of water. That bothered me at that point of time. So I did several tests for this tanker water quality. And I understood that it's not great. I mean, the registered tankers had often more chlorine in it or less chlorine in it, and was contaminated at times. And the unregistered tankers was, a lot of contamination. So starting from here, so this whole thing of why are we depending on tankers became, started questioning it. So the communities we lived in, we tried, to make them think beyond tankers and to start thinking, what are the other options other than tankers? So, but nobody seemed to even think about it. This is 20 years ago, but I can clearly say even after 20 years ago, 20 years later, I don't see a big shift. Definitely people are thinking environment today. We are in the listening mode, but still we've not jumped into action yet. So living in different communities and convincing people, and somewhere we got things done, half done. So it became a very deep intent to become a tanker-free home. So when we built our own house, so you can see the courtyard of this house. Under the courtyard is a large rainwater harvesting sump, which can capture up to 25,000 liters of water. Before even designing the house, this was the first thing on our minds, me and my husband, Ramesh, that we have to become sustainable for water. What are the things, what are the steps we take? We also thought gray recycling of water, of gray water, which is all the waste water, other than what comes out of the commode, is black water. The other waste water is called gray water. This can be easily recycled. So why not recycle this water? So we set up a small recycling plant, which took very little space, but it gave us enough water for the gardens and stuff. So in the first year, we don't know if we had become a tanker-free home, but luckily we didn't need a tanker. And today I can say very confidently, 12 years, and we still didn't need a single tanker for this house. And that I see as a huge achievement. But once this achievement, happened, the next thing immediately is to get your friends and network and your own community to make this happen. So I can say that last 7 years as a community, we live in Rolling Hills, Gachibowli, which is the heart of, the IT parks, where it is very, very tanker prone. So our community also, for the last almost 7 years, we used to buy common tankers earlier and distribute. We don't buy tankers at all. As common tankers, we don't buy. Here and there, once in a while, when people use more water, they buy. But if you live in our colony throughout the year, and we are a family of 8, and we don't need a tanker. So, we made ourselves self-sustainable. So once this self-sustainability happened, I mean, though it was, I can call it as a part of my design thing there, where I was already connected to nature, and I made one more step and made this happen. But still, I didn't think water the way I think today. There was a big change, almost like, let's say, a life-altering change that happened after this. So in 2016 summer, most of the communities around here, including L&T and a lot of other communities, they didn't have, they ran out of water. They were giving water once in 2-3 days. Around that time, our colony in Rolling Hills had enough water throughout summer and beyond summer as well. So that was one turning point for me. That made it, that asserted the fact that if we did something, we can save ourselves from a dire consequence tomorrow. I mean, we will not suffer water tomorrow. So from here, then I started aggressively talking about this in all my projects that I was doing. It could be factories, it could be pharmaceutical companies. I was, designing a few residences, corporate offices, but I was trying to advocate this everywhere. I thought it's so important for me. I cannot let go of this in my own projects as a design studio. And as a design studio, also started designing for complicated urban spaces, like where they're very challenging spaces where you don't have space. Then how do you do rainwater harvesting? How do you recharge in a space? And how do you do rainwater harvesting without causing harm to the building? Because we come from a building background, we understand these things. So we started creating models or templates for different challenging spaces. So slowly there was a shift in my design studio also. We were moving towards water. So this shift was already happening, though we were doing a lot of design projects as well. But we started focusing on water in every project. And when I looked at my, colleagues and friends who were around, they did think, but they were not focused on water. Nobody was actually focused on water to give a solution for water to become zero discharge and stuff. Soon I started understanding it's not just rainwater harvesting, but what about our wells and lakes, which are our surface water bodies, which are in a very, very bad shape. How do we, and these are our largest catchment for rainwater. And all the rainwater gets into these sewage ponds. Sadly, we have to call them sewage pools today. So the rainwater mixing with more sewage creates more sewage, and then there's pathogens flowing all over the city, and you can see the urban floods. And usually we look at it as an urban flood and we talk about it a lot on social media, and then we forget about it. But the point is, we are throwing so much of pathogens all around us by because 70% of our sewage is also, as a city, not treated. And all these, when it settles up in the ground, they are contaminating our shallow aquifers. They are entering our bore systems. So we are not free of this damage. It is a cycle. It's coming back to us in different ways. This was another revelation. And I wanted to work on a lake and understand what is, what is a restoration like? What do I need here? So, of course, it was too overwhelming in the beginning, where I don't know anybody around the lake and everyone is questioning you as to what is your agenda. Are you a politician? Are you belonging to the government? Or are you planning to encroach? I mean, people did ask me a million questions. And that's where the challenges of being a woman and how you want to manage water in a, outer space other than my community. That was my first thing with communities or connecting with people. So it seemed like a mountain task. It seemed like almost I cannot convince them or I cannot make them come along with me. But I didn't give up. I started having these small meetings with communities around the lake, because it was in my head that I can take up this lake and probably get some funding and do something with it. But if I don't connect to the people around it, they are not connected to this water body, this is not sustainable. This is not going to happen. So I started working rivers, connecting people, and sort of started talking to them, understanding their problem. That's where this management part actually comes, where I went with a plan. I told them this is how the lake can become. But later on, I understood in our country, sadly, there's nothing called public opinion. No? I need to understand people first. I need to understand what their problems are, what are their aspirations for this water body, or what they don't like about this water body, or what is it that will connect them to it. So after understanding, then I came up with different solutions from what I thought initially. So somewhere, some things were working. While I started going deeper into understanding what is this water crisis? Because I just knew my home, my community, and I've just about started working for the lake, but I don't know anything about the city and why am I even working for water, or why is it important today? So one thing I understood is constantly our population is on the rise. All of us need water. By 2050, we are almost going to double up as a population, and 40% or 35-40% more of development. Where are we going to get the water from? And today we are already are reaching to rivers, and we are getting water today from 200 kilometers away. So I understood it like a little story. For initially, I was shocked that is it only Hyderabad getting water from rivers or far off places. Then it was a revelation to me that most of the cities are doing this today. Why? Because you're not sustainable as a city. So you started getting water from places far off. So started from Gandipet and the Himat Sagar, which is 30 kilometers away from our city. That was the first water bodies created by the Nizams to get drinking water to us during the floods and post the floods. Then in 1970s, we moved to the Manjira River, the Singur project. Then in 2004, we are already at Nagarjuna Sagar. We are done with phase 1, 2, and 3. By the time it's 2014, we are at the Krishna and Godavari rivers. And now recently the Kaleshwaram project too. Now how many thousands of crores of rupees goes just in power bills and maintaining the infrastructure of this? So growing as a city, where is this water going to come from? So it becomes very pertinent to think, what do we do as citizens? What do we do as a government? What do we do collectively together to hold on to our water? How do we become sustainable? Because I'm very confident that in my house, even through COVID, where people were fearing getting a tanker guy inside, we didn't have to worry because we had a huge water bank in our house and we drink rainwater. We just use a UV filter, we drink rainwater. So we didn't have to worry. So we became sustainable in any kind of condition that is. So why not everyone walk into these footsteps. And also the groundwater extraction. It is a reality that more than almost 80% of our groundwater is over-mined, over-extracted because of the population. A number of bore wells and the water we draw from them is such an invisible thing. None of us know how much water goes out, and it's very it's so much of inequitable distribution. And of course, the pollution I've talked about, and also the urban flooding. Between urban flooding and buying tankers in summers, we've never been able to break this cycle. So it becomes very, very important. And here are things that at a larger level, how do I, work with a city-wide approach? What are the real issues? So the one clear issue is lack of awareness. People are only connected to the tap and the tanker. Beyond that, nobody knows about water resources or where your water comes from and how do you manage. Unless you know where is your resource, you don't know how to manage it. And if you didn't manage it, you're going to, suffer tomorrow. So lack of strict implementation. So the government, though they have umpteen policies, lack of implementation is one big problem that we see. And also lack of end-to-end service providers. There are different challenging situations where rainwater harvesting or anything else, it is not a cookie cutter solution. It's very site specific. So it has to be understood clearly before we come up with a solution. So how do I connect with people? This became another big thing for me to manage in my head. How do I connect with a large, number of people? So this lake, working on this lake, gave me this opportunity to connect with almost 20,000 people around this lake. Initially, I had zero support, but today I can say this 20,000 people will listen to me. They know for sure, for a fact, that I'm working genuinely to make things better for them. And you can see on the left-hand side, I got them to remove sewage lines which were directly into the lake, right? While we fight for many things with the government, we often forget that we are also the problem. So highlighting this in a very decentralized way, how we can, so immediately 30% of the sewage was out of the lake, 30% cleaner, just by making 3 large communities move their sewage lines out. Of course, there's a storm line coming into the lake that brings sewage. That's a bigger challenge to handle, but there is a lot of things that we can do as individuals and pull up situations around the lake. So they are very, very interesting. I mean, it's been a 3-4 year work around the lake, a lot of challenges. And, one thing is, many times as a woman, I felt like, I'm not being understood, or I'm not able to convey what I want. And mostly, sadly, when it is managing water, I'm only talking to men. You can see all the photographs, except for few women in the slum community. I didn't see women coming out and speaking for water. Let's take a community, for example, right? Who comes to these community meetings and committee meetings? And mostly the men sort of become the decision makers, but it need not be like this. It's not that men ask women not to come. It's just that their own participation, they think they're not empowered to take this up, or I don't know what are those fallbacks. And that's another thing I'm actually working on. Because women, if we take up one thing, I'm sure we can lead all the way. We don't give up. It is in us that we don't give up. So more women coming into this, is definitely something. I empowered a lot of women in the slum communities, talking to them about how they should, protect the lake edge where they live, how they can make a cleaner surrounding for them so they don't die of dengue year after year. And also connecting to communities, schools, slums, because when it comes to water and especially rainwater harvesting, we're only talking communities. What about the hotels? What about the malls? What about the institutions? What about religious institutions? What about all these places who have rooftops who can save water? And we did some interesting study as a studio. I had my interns and architects and urban planners in my team to actually study pockets of the city. And we understood one thing clearly, that this is what you see here is rooftops in Madhapur. This is Madhapur 1 and 2. The rooftops gave enough water for the whole of Madhapur's population, which has a good number of floating population also. just from rainwater. This whole population can survive year long just with rainwater. We get that much rainwater. But Madhapur 1 and 2 alone spend more than 16 crores a year in water tankers. This is public money. This is not even like government money. So these are things we need to start. So I thought awareness should be data driven today. Awareness should be given in a way that in your street, what is the situation for water? We have to come down to that level of data. And also, there are a lot of inspiring stories too, but they never come up in the forefront. We need to talk about, we need to pull up these inspiring stories. There's this IIIT Hyderabad. They have 2,000 plus students. They don't buy a single tanker for many years now. That's an example. So also communities, schools like Chirek, we worked with them for last 3 years, made them completely water positive. While I was working on a lake, while I'm working on rainwater harvesting, while I'm working in several projects in my network and in my design studio, I felt the crisis is much, much bigger. And I'm actually not solving the problem in a certain way, right? Though I'm working on it in different pockets. So I thought, why not fix one block at a time? What if we break down the city into 98, what we call micro watersheds? Micro watershed is something that within that micro watershed, whatever efforts I put on water, it will make a difference to that micro watershed. The water doesn't flow out of the micro watershed unless, if I don't tap it, it does, but I can very well tap it within that. So we broke down the city into different micro watersheds. Now, each micro watershed has different facets of water. Water often we think is only in lakes, or, people forget also that we have a river actually. When there was this rally for rivers and I was also campaigning for it, many people came and asked me, Madam, do we have rivers in Hyderabad? It is so sad that we've forgotten the Musi. The Musi it was life. It was our life in Hyderabad. It flows from the west to the east. But today it's become one of the kuvams of Chennai, or, it's become one of those heavily polluted rivers. So in our sense, this is what we understood in a block. What all do you have in a block? You have a lake, then you have these wells, then you have common rainwater harvesting that you can do. You can do a lot of awareness, but you need to plan a block. You need to understand how much rainwater comes into this block and what are the different, pain points. Like you have these flyovers that keep, getting us so much water, but we are unable to tap it. Why? And these are things which can be easily tapped and improve our groundwater. So that's when the little seed for this rainwater project, starting this social enterprise sort of seeded the thought that, why not work systematically on this? Because my vision is large, but how do I achieve this? I cannot achieve this doing one-off project here and there, but I need to set examples of where, I've made a block water rich. So we started working on the Kondapur Masjid Banda block. And we worked around 7 communities around the lake, communities, and started sort of bartering with them, saying that we'll get you 2 injection bore units. Can you do 2 more? And can you maintain all 4? That seemed to work. And I happened to, apply for a HDFC fund. I got that fund. And I was able to deploy that fund in making these common area rainwater harvesting. And this made a huge difference. Today, many presidents of these colonies come to us and say that we have enough water, because there are many bore wells which were actually dead and not working are fetching more than 1 lakh liter water today because we've done this effort. So if you see in that entire block, we've restored a well, we've rejuvenated a lake, we understood what is a clean catchment. We started explaining this to people that if you have garbage on your roads and if there is a monsoon that hits, the water goes through this garbage and becomes leached, black water that is entering your bore system. So it's very, very important to segregate your waste, to keep your waste, segregation is so connected to water bodies because they eventually land up in water bodies. And this is what you see. And most plastics don't disintegrate. And you have these greenhouse gases and you have multiple complications and almost becoming like a toxic waste. Well, in our lake restoration, I have seen syringes. I have seen all kinds of hospital waste in helmets, I have seen cables, I have seen mattresses, I have seen clothes. Just name it and it is there in a lake. Why are we living like this? I mean, isn't it stupid that we have spoiled our water bodies? We don't save anything at home, or we don't reduce our consumption, and we don't save our rainwater. We don't even think, nobody knows what is recycling of water. Why should I even do it? And everyone is the only question when I say that rainwater harvesting is very, very important. If I do rainwater harvesting, is my neighbor going to benefit, or am I going to benefit? This is a question that comes often to me, but I keep saying that we draw water from ground every single day, each one of us here. So it becomes our duty to put back clean water into the ground. We cannot erase our bore wells, and the number of bore wells are in lakhs. So in this block model, we also want to understand how many bore wells are there in the block and how much water gets drawn every day. You see this, we installed a drain screen at the lake, and we found what kind of waste comes out, and we took communities and walked down those streets and showed these photographs and told people, this is what you throw and this is what ends up in the lake, and killing all of biodiversity. Even if there is a few ducks or few birds that live on this water, this is the story, and all this is coming back to you as disease. So this is what you can see. When I say impact, just these two pictures will show tons of waste removed and the water getting cleaner, and we're making it cleaner to enable it to get more rainwater into these systems, and get sewage water. If there is sewage water, treat them and give treated water to the lake. We may not drink lake water today, but it has to be acceptable for the environment for us to live in. Often we forget, why are we spending lakhs of rupees in the hospitals today? We're spending lakhs of rupees, not knowing why, even after doing so many things, we are getting so many diseases. Instead of paying attention to the environment around, we are paying money to the hospitals. So we started even connecting to farm plots and individual homes, because where is this problem actually beginning? When you build is when people don't manage the water. So we started showcasing these stories, doing these zero discharge units. Wherever there is so much logging, how much water can you save and how much monetary savings that you can have, right from farm plots to individual homes. We started working with large 200 to 50 acre plots, to 50 acre to 5 acre to 7 acre, 8 acre, large communities that are coming. Started showcasing, and hardly people used to believe us when we said, you will capture crores of liters of water. You don't know the power of rainwater and its potential. And once they see the result, they understand. Many 1 lakh liters tanks that they have set up, they say that in few days it is filling up. They never thought that this is the kind of potential each one of us has. So, connecting with industries, a lot of watersheds, you see a lot of, poultry farms, industries, and a lot of recycling factories are, very, very water intensive. So it becomes pertinent for them to save water, and it will be useful for their industry as well. So institutions, taking them, and we started mapping their entire, buildings and their green areas and paved areas, started showcasing how much of water actually that they can save. These are large projects that we are working with and clearly showing them results. What you invest, your return on investment is sometimes less than a year, and within a couple of years you get back your investment. And these are innovative models for rainwater harvesting, where there is no sand, no gravel methods today. These are modular systems, and these are done under the roads, and they are sealed, for 25 years, you don't need to touch them. So instead of so most of the rainwater pits today, almost 85% of them do not work, simply because we don't maintain. So we started bringing a lot of innovation. Instead of telling, maintain your pits, why not, use them, and why not give them maintenance-free solutions? And while doing all this through COVID, we've supported several families and livelihoods, because we could work through COVID because we were working for water. We were allowed to work, and we could support number of families doing this work. So that's really, brings back so much happiness. And if we see, why are we focused on wells today? Because wells are fast disappearing. The wells we documented last year are not existing today. They're quickly filling it up, and the value of land and such, the greed, and they are just taken over. So we started focusing on wells, and we restored the landmark of, Gachibowli step well. All of it literally from debris. You can see the picture right in the middle on top. This is how the well was. And today it has water in it. And we are also talking about recent development, how to develop it in a way that there is no more garbage coming back, and creating footprints of these wells, creating drawings, measure drawings of these wells. So these stay forever. Working with livestock and goshalas and making their, sheds water getting into their wells and desilting wells there. And also all the abandoned wells in many areas, pick it up and get funding for it and restore it. And last year, one such irrigation well helped us save more than 30 lakh liters water, which otherwise would have gone off as an urban flood. So these are great collection points. Many people ask, if you restore a well today, do you get water? Last 6 wells, we have found beautiful water in it. And during the monsoons, even if we didn't find water, if we put back clean water in it, they are connected to our aquifers and they will pull up our groundwater systems. So this brings local security, water security, which was our traditional understanding. They built wells and they had communities around wells. So this was a water security. And also bringing back these wells and creating interesting public spaces out of it is another thing where design, ties up with this water journey. A lot of wells. This is our recent Bansilal pit well that we are doing, literally from garbage and almost a desert on top to we found beautiful water. We found down more than 50 feet today, another 20 feet to go. It's a beautiful, you can see it's an architectural marvel. We also started working with districts around, not just in our city, and talking to collectors who are willing to restore wells and creating public spaces in districts where they can, celebrate Batkama or a Kartika Purnami and create an awareness around these wells, because many people have started closing down wells even in the districts, sadly, even in villages. So pulling up awareness and showcasing it to them, how they can be kept alive. While doing this, I'm still working on various concepts where parks can become rainwater harvesting hubs, how we can, do retention ponds around slums, where when the lake breaches during the monsoon, there is this retention ponds which can hold on this water and save, the water from getting into the slum areas and things like that. These are all design interventions that can help, the water story, because none of our urban planning is actually connected to our water stories underneath. So we want to make water visible. I mean, that's really our mission to even start this, rainwater project. And it's been a wonderful experience last 2 years. The amount of, I'm still learning on the job, and there's so many things that is getting revealed every day. And the scare is bigger, like, we need to do something urgently. This is what comes to me at the end of every day. We need to do something collectively. We need to pull up our bad conditions that we live around. And I also started working with municipalities and talking to the municipality commissioners and getting the local champions, these social auditor cards where they can go and talk to communities and create awareness, and also training plumbers in every locality. So we empower them for their livelihood, and they are the ones who can go and, become ambassadors for this cause. So continuing to train younger minds, and I would like to take them to a well or a lake and talk to them, and not just talk theory in the class. I mean, actually go and show them what was our, engineering of our ancestors, and how did they think water, and how are we thinking water today, and what is that shift we can make. So giving them hope that, we can restore certain things if we start rethinking. So that's the end of my presentation. But this whole journey, it's been almost 11 years now, and working seriously on ground for the last 6 years has taught me a lot about people management, about how do I work things in a public space. how as a woman I can, break this thing of, only men can manage water or take these decisions and that, and how we can also help handhold. And a lot of people have appreciated also, the kind of efforts that have gone in. So it's been a wonderful journey without a doubt, and there is a lot that we still need to do. So yeah, this is, let's say, my journey. It's an ongoing thing. Yeah. So I'm up for any questions, if any.
It was really a fantastic display of your ability. No wonder you're called as the water warrior of Hyderabad. I have just seen this slogan put across. You're called elsewhere earlier also, that you'll be talking again on the Manthan platform too, which also has got a greater viewership. I really appreciate all the hard work that you did and the great amount of service that you're doing to the Hyderabad city. I think there can be no other word, because whatever you do, as you rightly put, in a very modest way, is looking very simple, and you say it is very small. So every day you say, at the end of the day, I feel that I should do something more. I think you're very right, ma'am. I think you're absolutely marvelous in your and the effort that you do to protect water, which I think is the most important thing. Many a time people say that we are damaging the entire planet, and the next generation, we are giving them some sort of a scrap or probably a polluted sort of thing. I really feel that you are making your contribution to this, and really appreciate this. I think from HMA point of view, also you are also a valued member. So I'm sure we draw a sort of pride in your activity for sure.
Thank you so much.
Since I would also mention that while maybe since I have the opening remarks, maybe I have the right to also probably ask a few questions. One was you made one on the first slide you mentioned was how correct is it regarding the Niti Aayog's caution that Hyderabad is going to be one of the 21 cities to be getting out of groundwater by 2020. This was one of the slogans you used in the initial first slide. I think probably the Niti Aayog's point. I mean, their caution rather. I was just wondering, how did the government of Telangana come into this particular thing to see how it can be prevented? Did Kaleshwaram project add a value to this? Because, it is bringing water from the Godavari, using the wastewater from the water which is flowing into the rivers, into the to the different parts of the state, and even Hyderabad is going to draw water from this. Will that make a difference, ma'am? That's one thing.
Yeah.
Second point I was also wondering was, while you are trying to see that we restore the water, we protect the water, we store the water, rainwater, it probably is easily available. What are the things you think are effective for preventing that this sort of destruction doesn't happen? I mean, I think probably I asked two questions. Maybe, madam, we can probably dwell on it. I'll be too happy. Because even in the rural area, as you mentioned, you also said you're going through the rural areas. I think Mission Kakatiya was one thing which was aiming at this. So where they were trying to de-silt the lakes and then try to increase the water holding capacity, etc., and all that. Now the water that is flowing from Godavari into Hyderabad, apart from the Krishna water and all that, will it help in recharging the bowels, the ground level waters, etc., and all that, apart from supplying the required quantity of water? And so, definitely this effort of yours, I think, is very commendable. I would only add to that. Yeah, please.
Thank you so much, sir. So the first question, yes, is what the government doing? Is that the right path to go, and is it actually helping us? I would say yes, it is helping us to get your Kaleshwaram water to many agricultural fields. Are there's a lot of losses as well. Let's not talk about the losses now, but the gains are there without a doubt. But at what cost? You're still getting water from Godavari and Krishna 200 kilometers away. Like I said, I understood a little story, 30 kilometers to 70 kilometers to 120 kilometers to 180 to 200 kilometers. So the next question you might also ask is, where do we go next beyond 200 kilometers? So the government, one of the GMs from Water Board, he said, madam, it's only the sea, right? The next where we are going to head is only the sea and desalination plant. Suppose we run out of this water and we have to phase out and get water from somewhere. So the political system and the government, they always look at, you have a need and they try to fulfill it, right? They try to fulfill it by getting, unsustainable methods. Now, this government is okay spending thousands of crores just in power bills in few months. Just in few months, it's thousands of crores of rupees. But how are we going to sustain this? Now, our population is going to double up. Are we going to erase the river? Is a question we need to ask ourselves. Are we going to erase these rivers? Are we going to plug a farmer's water and start using the water? Today, you see most of them are enjoying Manjira water right from the flush. And how much of water wastage? Today morning, I had put on a tweet, there's a Manjira broken water line. For 4 days, it's been overflowing. I went to the store in the morning and I saw on the road, there's a whole river of water. And that watchman says, ye 4 din se, I mean, from 4 days, it's been flowing out like this. When I go and ask, we complained, but nobody came. But nobody has this urgency to, that you can't do this. I mean, this is criminal waste of water. And this is water you're getting from the rivers. You can't just throw this water like this. So I feel whatever is being done, like the Mission Kakatiya, you will know and you can see the results. Almost all villages are happy with this desilting, and it has definitely improved. So it is also telling you the story that if you desilt, if you take care of these water bodies, it is going to keep you sustainable. But that's not a one-time action, and that has to continue. And sustainability is what we need to preach today. We can't, get water from 200 kilometers away and say that you're water rich. No, we're actually going, negative for water. If we don't save our borewells, we're going to create deserts of our cities. And how are we going to fill up our dry fractures? We have put, as it is, our city has become more than almost 55-60% concreted. So naturally, what water can go in is gone. And what can go into lakes and wells, we have blocked them. We've created smaller nalas. This is where our focus should be. How do we create sustainability locally? So I think I've answered
You're absolutely right. I do agree with you. How to protect our existing water bodies, and your effort, I think, is very right. Now, can
I talk?
Yeah, please.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir, please.
Madam Kalpana ji, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
I'm thrilled listening to your lecture. And I can say you're an Apara Bhagirada, we can call it as far as this trying to revive the wells and trying to revive the water bodies, sort of thing. It's an excellent job. And I also want to tell you that there is a well in the Usman University campus behind the Ladies Hostel Road, exactly opposite the bus stop. It's also, I think, I'm just bringing it to your eyes, like that can be also revived. But I stay very near to Usman University, so I every day see that. But you're doing an excellent job, Kalpana.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Kalpana ji, I have one question. A technical one, other one is a management point of view. So the commissioners are changing every 2 years. One new commissioner is going to come as a private partner, like thing, with them. How you will coordinate and explain everything back to them, and seeing that your work will not be disturbed and then it will be going. The second point is that a lot of water is going through, is a technical one. A lot of water is going through nalas to waste to the river and other things. And it's happening every year to the heavy rain, it floods. So do you have any design in the nalas itself? It's a cemented trapezoidal type thing, So if you dig it some sort of a small pockets of wells inside of it with a filtering mechanism, so that the water, instead of flowing out of way, it will try to segregate somewhere and goes to the soil, and the soil can be again, it will be wetted, and our our bore well will be refilled again. There's a lot of nalas are there all over this thing. It's been designed long back, but in the particular design, if you have small pockets like the small wells inside of the nala, nowadays it's a tedious problem. Probably if you do it in summer, probably it will be useful during the rainy season as such. And some water will not be going straight away to out, and it will go right to inside of it. This what by technical thing, is it too possible?
Sure. These are good questions. And the first question is very, very true, that we rally with one commissioner. By the time the project takes off, we have to, the commissioner changes, and then we have to get to the other commissioner and sort of lay out the entire 9 yards. It has happened several times, but I don't see that as a challenge, because they do understand that you've done a certain amount of work, and they do judge based on that kind of work. And we've already connected to the principal secretaries and higher ups. So they do have, connect with them, and they do tend to understand, and they make it easier for us, that definitely has happened. It is also challenging to revisit the whole thing and trying to take them again newly to the lake and explain them and all of that. While that has to happen, right, because you have to stay connected, and effort that we have to, there's no other choice here. But definitely over the years, things have changed a lot. I mean, people do connect, and they do understand, they give value for what you do. So things become like, in the morning, I put on the tweet, within half an hour, there were HMW guys working on the road, and they closed that block. So this can happen today, because they do understand that some of us are genuinely working towards it. We are not just shouting out a cause, but we are trying to do something good. So it does. The second question, clean water. There's something called ethical recharge. Clean water can be sent to the ground, but water that's mixed with sewage, this cannot be sent into the ground without it being treated. If it's not treated, we're again going to go and contaminate the aquifers, these pits and that. Of course, Earth has its own mechanisms to filter it in a certain way, but still you're sending contaminants into the earth and the soil, a lot of things go wrong in the soil, a lot of things go wrong, and these leachate kind of things actually enter the bore systems around the lakes and wells where there is black water. We've actually taken samples of borewell water around and shown that this is also black water. So ethical recharge can happen if each community, each building arrest their water within their communities. First thing is, don't even allow rainwater to go out, And then the nalas today, I said, there are so many challenges. They have narrowed down, they have closed up. And these, you can make a rainwater harvesting pits along these nalas only if it is clean rainwater.
No, my route is like, what we do rainwater harvesting, we'll dig it and then we'll use kankara and other things, same layer. The same thing mechanism, we'll try to work it out in the nalas itself in a phased manner, like, about some half a furlong, like the distance. In the nala, if you provide it, it will filter it there. The water will go back.
It will not filter, but it will filter probably the silt, but the dirt in it and the contaminants, and these cannot be, this needs another level of treatment. Without that, we cannot send it to the ground. But what we can do is create sort of soak pits, which is just not more than 5-6 feet, and soaks into the ground and sort of helps greenery. But we can't go do a deeper recharge with this. So that's also another challenge. So ideal thing to do is every community, every institution, every hospital, every hotel, takes care of their water within their community. So then it's absolutely clean water that you send it into the ground, and you influence your own borewells. They start working better in the summers, and you can actually become water positive.
Yeah, thank you.
I think so. I wanted to.
Kalpana ji, can I put a question?
Yes, please.
Kalpana ji, this is about the pharma industry. As you've already spoken, Reshma Thakur ji also is here. As the Pollution Control Board is concerned, there are a lot of issues in terms of BOD, COD, and the effluent treatment is concerned. So, do you have any plans as a team to probably also cater to the pharma industry in terms of regulating their water treatment before it gets into the earth, which is actually the main reason, whether you take Hussain Sagar and rest of the places, because we don't have, at least in Telangana, a sea. Sea is one area where they find that things could be neutralized a bit. So that being the case, you and let's say Pollution Control Board, do you have some sort of a small initiative to probably talk to them, or you must have already spoken to them? If not, you have any plans? Yeah,
I have connected several times with the PCB, and often didn't yield results. But the point is, there are several policies, in fact, good policies. Often people say that there aren't enough policies. Actually, we have a lot of good policies. Only where we fail is implementing them. So recently, last week, I was at this Cherlapalli industrial estate, and there was this large community coming up where they are constructing, individual homes. So they said that there is a lot of water that comes into our community every day. And can we tap this water and do rainwater harvesting? When I went there, it was sad that that water that is coming is, almost like toxic chemical waste water. How can you put that into the ground? I said, so the watchman there told me, right now it's in a construction phase. The watchman there tells me, madam, I don't even take bath in this. I go and get a bottled water to take bath. So it is that bad, because they don't have ETPs. So as a rainwater project, we also are getting into innovation for wastewater and coming up with, site-specific wastewater treatment plants, because this has become very important today. Even as a house, I have a gray recycle system which is completely automated today. We do nothing and it just simply works and gives us 400, 500 liters every day for our plants. Clean water where it doesn't smell is good for plants. It's not good to drink or do anything else with it, but it is good for plants. So treatment is very, very important and it is not being implemented. It's very sad that even today, I actually saw it with my own eyes that I even saw the factory that's letting out this waste into the Nala, and that's overflowing and getting into these housing colonies and these. And just imagine how much of this would go into the bore systems and how much of health hazards these are going to cause. It's like huge. These really, they need to be mindful, any pharma or chemical factory, they really need to be mindful. And sadly, people from the government also tell me inside their factories, they drill bore wells and they actually pump the entire effluent without treating. They send it into the ground, And once when I went met a GM in water board in Kukatpalli, this is a real story. I saw children, very young, 6-7-year-old children who don't, have hair on their head, because of this pollutants. And there are many ladies who came and said that, so many abortions have happened and life itself is so distressed in these areas where, and they came and they actually told that, that this is because of the groundwater. We know it is because of the groundwater. And please do something, help us. But these are all very big industrialists, completely networked and fully. So unless they become responsible, conscious citizens, you're actually destroying lives of so many people around you. So this is something we need to know. There are many apartments which go down 3 basements, 4 basements, and they hit groundwater streams. And these streams, they pump every day, 24/7, pump them and put them into the drains. And around these communities, people suffer water. They don't have water because you're erasing the stream, the groundwater, they are suffering. And there are people who they can't even afford a tanker today. So we really have to be so mindful, especially the pharma and all the other industries that can pollute. The ETP and treating water and putting back is so, so important. And also by doing rainwater harvesting, where 70% of our sewage is lying all around us in nalas and everything, which is entering our bore systems. If we do serious rainwater harvesting, at least we are diluting this to a large extent. So it's reducing urban floods, it's, reducing your pollution, and it is improving your groundwater. Just by doing this one simple thing called rainwater harvesting, you're doing so many things that you can, you're helping the community also essentially, because water, flows everywhere. It's not that you can tap it in your community only. You are also saving yourself, but you are helping somebody.
I think that's the reason the government has made a compulsory for all the apartments and individual houses to make a rainwater harvesting a compulsory this thing to their construction. That's it.
But the sad part is, if there is a 1 crore liter potential, they have done a rainwater harvesting pit which can save some 20,000 liters of water. then what is the thing? Then you have thrown everything out. So that I'm trying to bring this concept of zero discharge. You manage your water, rainwater within your community. You manage your wastewater also, most of it can be recycled and reused. Then imagine how much of pressure would reduce on all the drainage systems. I mean, government cannot every 50 if every 50 years keep addressing the drainage systems and keep rebuilding it. How long are we going to be doing this? Because 30 TMC more of water that is coming today from the Kaleshwaram project is turning into wastewater. More wastewater in the roads during monsoons and less tapping of rainwater. It's creating huge amount of urban floods and the climate change. We have other things that have added on. So it's going to become a huge challenge for living itself if we don't address these things at, at the basic level.
Yeah, Kalpana, it was a wonderful session. In fact, very useful session.
The sewage water conversion projects and all available with you, ma'am. Like if they want to retreat. Okay.
Yes, a lot of them. So much innovation has happened. Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just want to know, like, are you helping the construction sector and other industries to design STP and ETP also?
Yes, absolutely. So that's where I thought, I should connect with you, Reshma. I should actually connect with you because we bought so much of innovation, so much of it, and they should absolutely follow this and do this while we are giving passes to them, industries, while we are so many MSME, green industries that are getting set up, and there are steel factories and a lot of these things coming up. But where is the water and how we are managing it is often, not focused upon. We should work on this together, Reshma.
Yes, definitely. I'll just call you maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Let's have a one-to-one discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the useful information.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think Kavita Garu wanted to ask me a question. She did raise her hand. Any more questions from anyone else?
Kalpana ji, I think you have given a wonderful sort of, a view of the entire requirement, the importance of water harvesting, and everyone should really religiously do it. It is not for somebody's sake, it is for your own sake and your future generation.
Yeah, I keep telling people, it's okay, you become selfish, but think about your own children, think about your own grandchildren. I mean, you don't want to leave palaces for them with no water, right? They want to live there, and it is your hard earnings that you have brought them this place. So I think water is very, very important. We often think rainwater harvesting and these things are all in the back bench. I mean, we don't really need to, we often put it in the back burner thinking that this can be done later. It's not priority, but absolute priority. And we have to look into this today because the branching of the problems that it can go in so many tangents and destroy our lives in a different way. This is not something we look for. We cannot plug a farmer's water and use this water in our flushes and throw water and feel happy about it. That's not going to get us a good sleep for sure.
I think this water distribution is a huge subject, ma'am. I think our India is very, very, like how you categorize it and how you utilize it and how you reuse it.
And the sad thing is the poorest guy is the one who is paying the highest price for water. It is not just water, his health, everything, goes down the drain. As people who have, money and we can take care of this thing. We can buy a tanker, we can afford a tanker, we can afford the treatment. But often the highest price is paid by the poorest of people. That's the saddest part.
I think also, ma'am, I think to say that there is no water distribution system and all that, I think our heritage says that there have been wonderful systems. Even Hyderabad itself had a beautiful water distribution system, but slowly we have eroded the entire thing added population and our own selfish motives, like rightly mentioned by you. I think
The Kakatiyans actually built more than 5,000 cherus, knowing that Telangana is in the Deccan Plateau. We need to save and store water. I mean, that kind of thinking, we've lost that language today. Today we're just building. Are we thinking water? I mean, where is the water going to come? And it is a finite resource, you know. Yeah.
No wonder the world is awakening for this. Hopefully the ESG norms, the Paris Accord, etc., all that will come in a broader perspective. But in our own focused way, in our own way, I think probably what you said is very, very valid. I think it's wonderful sort of a thing to hear you, man. It was really very, very interesting, and you made many of us little probably jerk awake. That's what probably must have happened for sure. I presume that there are no more questions, hopefully, and I'll request our Secretary, Dr. Ravi Kumar Jain, who is present over, to kindly propose the vote of thanks, formal thanking our guest of honor today, Kalpana Rameshji. It was really thank you very much. I also do thank on behalf of HMA.
Thank you, Ramchandra Garu. Before I propose a formal vote of thanks, just a piece of thought. In fact, what Kalpana ji is doing, and we have been appreciating her efforts and all. In fact, she right now is a lone crusader, and we all, it's our I would say moral responsibility, not just as a friendly responsibility, to extend a supporting hand to her and the entire team in doing whatever she's doing. And water, we can keep talking about water till the cows come home, and the topic would never end. Unfortunately, what happened is water, which occupied a very important place in our life, where we treated water as God, Ganga Ma, Godavari Mata. We refer to rivers and water as gods and goddesses. Now that cultivated a kind of respect, and also made us consume responsibly. That was part of the very lifestyle. It was weaved into the lifestyle itself. Today, when we are questioning the very existence of God, the whole idea of water being God, or water became commodity. And the moment something becomes commodity, everybody says, as long as I can afford it, I can do whatever I want to do it. But I think that's not the choice that we have. And if we do that, I mean, we have been doing it as a humanity, we have been very responsible in this matter. At least somebody who is doing a great work, we can all, because we individually, we all don't have wherewithal or knowledge or technical might, or for that matter, even the inclination to go out and dedicate our life and devote our life to that. But whatever little that we can do, we can support Kalpana ji in this crusade, not just for Hyderabad. Perhaps her vision and her work can go places, not just for India, even globally. Certain templates and models that she is developing. And I would also suggest, Kalpana ji, if a template can be developed for households, where they can do with minimal cost, some maximum conservation, or at least, cultivating the responsible consumption part. At least we can limit the consumption and also work on the reparation part. Otherwise, what happens is we'll end up into, a repenting and reparation mode rather than preventing and preserving part. So perhaps we have to move in that direction. I think on that note, and some of the key points that you have brought in, really, touching, and in fact, it is also compelling us to open our eyes now and start acting. Responsible consumption is something that you talked about, or conservation that you have talked about. I think they are the key things that we all have to adopt in our life as a part of lifestyle. And interestingly, all the HMA members here and otherwise, in the other forums listening to this, or may find this in some other way, they're all resourceful people and fairly successful in their vocation or the profession. And I think we all have the responsibility, being the premium citizens of the country or of the globe. We have the responsibility to put in our best foot forward in supporting this initiative, and more importantly, supporting our own person like Kalpana Ramesh, who is doing a human service to humanity. Apart from appreciations, I think supporting her would be more reflection of appreciation, not just the words. So on that note, let me extend a warm, thanks and gratitude on behalf of the entire HMA family to Sri Kalpana Ramesh for delivering such a eye-opening session, I would say, and a session which is compelling us for soul searching on what we are doing and where we are heading as far as water is concerned in our life. Thanks once again, and for that matter, you're also part of HMA family. So we take pride in having you on board as HMA family member. And thank you once again for being with us this evening and sharing your thoughts on a very important topic like water. Jal, Pani, Niru. You can't, do without it.
Yeah.
And hence we are responsible. We have a responsibility to protect it. Thank you so much on this note, and namaskar to all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for patiently listening to me.
No,
And I
no,
hope
not at
you-
all, ma'am. It's
And I hope you take back something, and I really hope that
absolutely.
each one of us can do something about this, and we should.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Karthik, we may call off the meeting, please.
Yeah. Good night, all. Ending the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.